Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, as you know that in your next revision test, chapter 7 Evans tries and O level will be there. Only one chapter is there, so we have discussed many times as already 3 or 4 videos are there on this chapter in which we have discussed board examination questions and also other important questions. Today I am going to summarize the whole lesson once again. So I am going to give you the detailed summary of this lesson. Okay, so let us begin. Evans tries an O level written by Colin Dexter. Okay, let's begin with introduction. This is an interesting and a thought provoking story that creates intriguing situations for the readers. Here is a clash of wit between a criminal and the law enforcing authorities, in which the prisoner Evans hoodwinks the police authorities and manages to slip out of the prison. He is a boy of deep intelligence, planning, resourcefulness, wit, and wisdom. He gets a rewarding success and plays a trick at Oxford prison. He starts learning German and is permitted to appear in O level test in the separate and well guarded cell. All the unauthorized items are taken away from him. He is put under a strict invigilation duty by the prison staff. The governor goes on making enquiries at every short intervals. The examination passes smoothly, but Evans pretends to be the bleeding person. He is taken to the hospital, but for all his careful and cunning strategies, he is arrested by the governor in a hotel. Evans then succeeded to slip out from the clutches of the gullible governor. Now, let me tell you after introduction. Let me tell you the characters. Characters are first one, the secretary of the examination board. Characters. First character is the secretary of the board examination board. The secretary of the board of examination board, sorry, of the examination board. Examination board. Number 2, the governor of HM prison, Oxford. The governor of HM prison, Oxford. Okay. The secretary of the examination board, the governor of HM prison, Oxford, and James Roderick Evans. And the third one, James Roderick Evans, prisoner. Okay, a prisoner. Okay, James Roderick Evans, a prisoner. And fourth one, Mr. Jackson, a prison officer. Mr. Jackson, a prison officer. Okay. So, four characters I have written here. Let me tell you, then I'll rub it and write down the remaining characters of this story. So, the secretary of the examination board, the governor of HM Prison, Oxford, James Roderick Evans, a prisoner, and Mr. Jackson, a prison officer. Okay, let me rub it and write down the rest characters of this story. Next character, number 5, Mr. Stephens. Mr. Stephens, another prison officer. Another prison officer. The Reverend Stout McLeary. Next character, the Reverend Stout McLeary, UART it is, Stuart McLeary, an invigilator. He is an invigilator. He is an invigilator. And next one, Mr. Carter, detective or superintendent. Mr. Carter, detective, superintendent, a detective superintendent, and Mr. Bell, detective chief inspector. Mr. Bell is detective chief inspector. Detective chief inspector. Okay, so it's all about the characters of the play. The secretary of the board, examination board, the governor of HM Prison, Oxford, James Roderick Evans, a prisoner, Mr. Jackson, a prison officer, Mr. Stephens, a prison officer, the Reverend Stuart McLeary, an invigilator, Mr. Carter, Detective Superintendent, Mr. Bell, Detective Chief Inspector. So it's all about the character. So let us go through the detailed summary of this lesson. It is the month of early March. The secretary of the examination board receives a call from the governor of HM Prison, Oxford. He tells that a prisoner named Evans has started right classes in O-level German. Now he wants to attain some academic qualification. The secretary replies that there is no need to worry. All the necessary forms and other requisite material will be sent. They will give him a chance. He inquires about Evans. The governor tells him that Evans has no record of violence. Rather, he is an amusing fellow. He is one of the stars at the Christmas concert. The secretary asks him if they can arrange a room where Evans can sit in for the examination. The governor tells that the room of Evans can be used for this purpose. The secretary agrees and tells that they could get a person from St. Mary Max to invigilate. The prison officers call him Evans the Break because he has escaped from prison 3 times. Governor takes all precautions that Evans should not escape from jail. So he decides to see to it. Governor takes all precautions that Evans should not escape from jail. So he decides to see to it personally. The examination is to be held on 8th June. A day before the examination, Evans' German teacher visits him and wishes good luck. Evans says that he might surprise everybody. On the day of the examination, Mr. Jackson, the senior prison officer on D Wing, visits Evans. He is accompanied by another prison officer named Stephens. Evans exchanges pleasantries with Jackson, and they do not like each other. Pointing at Evans' unshaven face, Jackson calls him a scruffy sad. After the shaving, Evans' razor is taken by Stephens lest he should cut his throat. Evans becomes angry when his nail scissors and razor are taken away. He is given half an hour to smarten himself. He is asked to take off his hat, but Evans calls it a sign of good luck. He does not remove it. The examination is to start at 9:15. The two wooden tables have been put in his cell along with two chairs. A microscope is fitted in his cell and the governor himself will listen to it. So, the authorities are not taking any chances with Evans. At 9:15 in the same morning, McLeary leaves his flat. He is with a small brown suitcase. It has the examination material, a copy of Bible and a copy of the Church Times. The examination is to start at 9:15. He enters the prison gate and signs in the visitor's book. He is escorted by Jackson. Then he is introduced to Evans. It is now 10 minutes past 9. The governor switches on the receiver, though he knows that there is not going to be anything to listen to. He is quite sure that Evans cannot escape from the prison. Still, he feels uncomfortable. He fears Evans might take advantage of McLeary. Unknowingly, McLeary might have brought something that Evans can use as weapon and hold him hostage. The governor picks up the phone and gives some instructions to Jackson. Jackson tells McLeary about the governor's worries. The governor thinks that Evans can use a weapon. The governor picks up the phone and gives some instructions to Jackson. Jackson tells McLeary about the governor's worries. The governor thinks that McLeary may have brought any such thing innocently that Evans can take advantage for escaping. Stephens checks McLeary's suitcase and finds a semi-flatted rubber ring. At this, McLeary explains that he needs it to sit on it in case he is to sit for a long time because he is suffering from piles. The wooden furniture have been placed opposite to each other. They are taking no chances with Evans. Thus, it will be difficult for Evans to make another break. At 18 minutes past 9, the governor hears McLeary giving the necessary instructions to Evans. Then he hears Evans objecting the presence of Stephens because he won't be able to concentrate on his examination. At the instructions of the governor, Stephens is sent out of the cell. At 25 minutes past 9, the governor hears from McLeary that the examination has started. McLeary asks Evans to write his name, index number, and center number on the paper. At 40 minutes past 9, the assistant secretary speaks to the governor, and the letter informs that the examination started at 25 minutes past 9. The assistant secretary informs him that there is a correction slip which they have forgotten to place in the examination package. The governor directs the call to Jackson, and it comes to his mind that the phone call can be a fake call to deliver some secret message. So he dials the number of the examination board, but the line was engaged. 2 minutes later, he hears McLeary reading the correction. Soon after, the governor receives a call from the magistrate's court for a prison van and 2 prison officers for a remand case. The governor wonders if it can be a hoax, but he dismisses it as a foolish idea. Stephens is looking vigilantly. He is looking through the peephole regularly. Every time he finds Evans with his pen between his lips and staring straight in front of him towards the door. McLeary is sitting just opposite to him. At 50 minutes past 10, the governor hears Evans asking McLeary for a blanket and to put it round his shoulders as it is a bit cold there. At 51 minutes past 10, Stephens looks through the peephole and finds Evans with a blanket around his shoulders. He thinks it something shady, and Evans may be planning to pounce upon McLeary and suffocate him. At 11:20, that is 20 minutes past 11, McLeary informs Evans that only 5 minutes remain. The examination is almost over. Still something is harassing the governor. At 20 minutes past 11, the governor wanted to speak to Stephens. He orders Stephens to accompany McLeary to the main prison gate. At 25 minutes past 11, McLeary announces, "Stop writing, please." And the examination is over. Stephens escorts McLeary to the main gate. Then he walks up to the Evans cell and opens the peephole. He is troubled to see a horrible sight. He is started to see a man sitting loosely in Evans' chair, covered under grey blanket. The front of his hair is covered with blood, and the same is still dripping from his head. He raises an alarm and shouts for Jackson. His voice awakens McLeary from semi-consciousness. Jackson arrives there and sends Stephens to ring the police and the ambulance. McLeary gives a long moan and tries to speak. He asks them to get the police. He knows where Evans has gone. Within a minute, McLeary is greeted by the governor. McLeary is supported by Jackson and Stephens. McLeary shows the governor a photocopied sheet cleverly superimposed over the last page of the question paper in German. The governor is confused to see the directions for Evans to escape. The detective superintendent Carter came with police party. Governor told him everything about Evans. McLeary told him that he knew where Evans might have gone and insisted to go with the police. The governor told detective superintendent to take McLeary along with him. Detective superintendent took McLeary with him to look for the absconder. The governor then asked who had seen Evans out at the prison gate. Mr. Stephens told him that it was he who had taken him out. He also told him that it was the governor who had ordered him to do so on the phone. The governor got baffled and told him that he did not ring him. Things were getting clear. It was a big plan. Someone from the examination board was also indulged in this plan. Superintendent Carter had spotted Evans on the way to Eels Field, but he lost him as he might have come back for the city. He informed governor about this. Governor asked him about wounded McLeary. Superintendent told him that he had got McLeary admitted in Radcliffe. They had ordered an ambulance from the examination office. When governor inquired about him from the hospital, they informed him that the patient was not found at the spot. When the ambulance reached them, nobody knew about him. The answer from hospital authorities cleared many doubts. Reverend Stuart McLeary, the real one, was found gagged and tied in his house. He told that two men had come to his house at 15 minutes past 8, and since then he had remained tied in his house. Now the question was, who was Evans? The one who left the prison as an invigilator, or the one who had left with wounds in the prison? It was the one who stayed back. So for today's video, it's all about in my next video, I will finish the remaining part of this story. So you also should go through the complete story through your textbook. Thank you students for watching this video. See you tomorrow.